My gosh, let's do this tonight. Eric, I hope you're ready for this night. This is going to be a great episode. Guys, welcome to episode 56 of the Drag Driver Pete Show presented by Summit Racing. We're going to have Trackside Media. We're going to have them on tonight. I'm excited about those guys. We're going to talk about a muffler outflowing a straight pipe. Dude, it blew my mind. We're going to talk about how people keep their intercooler tanks from sweating, which I know will be a big deal for us at some point in our future because we're going to build fast cars. And we round out the show with the man, the GM of Mokan Dragway, Mr. Tyler West. Dude, I'm so excited about tonight. Let's get this out of the way. I've said excited twice. Hit the intro video. Let's get this thing started.
All right, let's go.
We're gonna pack things up and hit the road and try to make it the next day.
All right, guys. Like I said, welcome to episode 56 of the Drag Driver Pete Show. My name is Mike Narks. I am the host of this show you are watching right now, which is a walk through the community of Drag and Drive. It's
I
crazy.
like
So
it.
I host this one. I host the news on Saturday mornings, which is live. Guys, I'm telling you, that's a great show. 3 hours a week of Drag and Drive coverage right here, live for you. There is a chat in the side of the thing over there. Make comments, ask questions. We're going to go over all that stuff. But I also host or am the promoter of the Circuit Drag and Drive, which is an event that is hosted at Mokan Dragway. Which, if you heard the intro, we have the GM of the track on tonight. I'm so excited about him being here. I have so many questions for that guy. Anyways, going to host that one. That's April 18th through 21st, and have sold out completely. More than 150 cars will be on site. Dude, it's going to be over the top. You guys will get to watch it live if you're not going to be able to make it to Mokan or Ozark Raceway Park because of our friends at On the Spot Auto Repair. He's the live stream um, sponsor. And listen, we're going to do it up, man. We're going to do it up. I've ordered 2,000 feet of cable. Are you ready for that? Are you ready to roll that up and out? Anyways, I'll stop jabbering. Eric, introduce yourself. Tell them who you are and what you got going on, dude.
I am Eric White. I am the co-host of this show and the news on Saturdays. I do a bunch of graphic design type work. You see that posted on the circuit. I'm going to be helping out with the circuit event itself, and just kind of do a little bit of everything around here. And when I'm not doing that, I'm helping or I'm running my own channel, which is 815 LSX Swaps.
Yeah, dude, we're busy guys. You're super busy, is what we'll say. Well, guys, listen, we can't do this without you. I want to say, please hit the share button as you come in here. Let people know that you're watching this. Let people know that you are into the Drag and Drive community. We call you our race car friends. Okay, that's what it is. Get ready. I'm going to say it about 300 times, probably 3,000 times over the next year. Okay, race car friends, near and dear to my heart, and also our sponsors. Thank you so much to these guys: Summit Racing, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Car Chains 3D, Howard's Cams, Performer Built Transmission, Sweet Patina, and Racing Junk Classifieds. Dude, that's a big list of awesome companies. And our newest media partner, PowerTube TV, which this will be on next Tuesday night. If you miss it tonight or catch certain parts of it, you can catch the full thing on PowerTube, plus a ton of exclusive content that's coming over there from my trip to the Southeast Gassers Association last weekend. Yes, please, please. All right, let's talk about one of our obviously our presenting sponsor tonight, Summit Racing. Summit Racing Speed Legacy began in 1968 as a one-man operation. I can't believe, like, can you imagine that? Like,
Yeah.
now they're the world speed shop, dude. Like, this guy had an idea, and now 4 huge warehouse facilities, 200 plus catalog editions over these almost 60 years. It's pretty amazing. They fuel your passion, they save you money, they deliver fast, and they offer top-notch customer service. More than 10 years ago, they launched the Summit Racing mobile app for easy access to speed parts. You can find Summit Racing on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. But like in our comments here in just a little bit, or actually about 2 sentences from now, you can find them on the On All Cylinders podcast for tons of automotive discussions like what you're listening to now. From humble origins to the social media lane, Summit Racing stands by your need for speed. Obviously, these dudes don't just do uh, automotive parts retailing. Okay. They do a lot of cool stuff, like the On All Cylinders podcast, which I'm posing a really good question here for folks. How does well, you can watch this episode here that would talk about how this baffled muffler flows more CFM than a straight pipe. It's crazy. Both of them are 3 inch. Both of them are about 18 inches long. It really, I mean, obviously, this guy is he is one of the head honchos at Magnaflow Muffler, and he's telling Justin in this video about how this all works. Right. So they put it on a flow bench or flow tester. The straight pipe flows 635 CFM for however long they're running it. Right. It's like sounded like about 30 or 40 seconds to me. And the muffler was is obviously a straight through design. You guys saw it. Here, I'll show you again if you didn't catch that. You can see the wall behind him, right? Okay. 669 CFM. I don't know what that equals in horsepower range, but I do know that the muffler flowed more than the straight pipe, which sounded pretty crazy to me. So obviously I posted that up and was talking about it in one of the things, and somebody was explaining that it's essentially like the golf ball, and the guy on the screen talks on the video talks about that as well. How it kind of helps turbulate the air, and that helps create movement through it. I think it's also partly because more air will fit in that muffler than will fit through the straight pipe or through the straight pipe as it's flowing on the flow bench. So again, I don't know if that equals horsepower, but I would say if it flows more CFM out, it definitely does equal horsepower. Am I crazy? Is that right? I mean, are you following me? Am I making sense here?
I don't know.
So essentially he says straight pipe making more horsepower is one of the biggest misconceptions out there. People are so used to seeing a race car that has open headers or that dump right at the collector. And the idea is that high performance is noisy and loud and made with the least amount of parts. Now, that's probably true, right? When you're at the ragged edge of something. But as we've seen on the flow bench, the straight piece of tubing actually flows less than a perforated tube straight through muffler. It's counterintuitive, but counterintuitive doesn't make it not true. I thought that was kind of cool. Folks say they want a straight pipe because they'll make the most power, but if we're talking about power generated from flow capacity, that's not necessarily the case. That tells me, in my layman terms, that the muffler can make more power. So I'm sure this will be a great topic for a lot of folks to talk about in the chat or in the comments as they're watching this later. It says the common thought is that a muffler equals restrictions, but in some cases it can even enhance the airflow. So I thought that was a really cool way to, I don't know, this whole test series that they did on the On All Cylinders podcast was really cool. They have an entire 45-minute video with Dave Fuller from Summit. They have Justin, who's been on the show before from Summit, and they have I think his name is Rich Wadis from Magnaflow on pretty cool setup. I really thought it was pretty interesting that you could actually that it flows more, not that it maybe makes more power, but that it flows more CFM than the straight pipe. So kind of crazy. I don't know. Am I crazy? People tell me what's going on.
I mean, it's interesting for sure.
Yeah. What's Pat Cook saying here? Collector extensions pick up power, so a good muffler should too. Yeah. Drag and drive stuff, baby. Street. That's right. Well, hey, listen, here's what we're going to do. We're going to move a few things around within the show. We're testing out some new fun stuff as we move forward. Why don't you do the Howard's Cams ad read and let's go and see what else we got going on here.
All right, I can do that. Howard's Cam was founded as racing cam manufacturer almost 80 years ago when Howard Johnson created Howard's Power and Racing Equipment in 1945. Howard's Cams has always used on-track experience to design the most powerful designs. Today, they have an even greater group of experienced racers in circle track, drag racing, road race, mud bog, and marine. They all use this input plus the most advanced computer software to design the most competitive race winning products. From pioneers in drag racing and oval track to cutting edge marine development, Howard's Cam is at the forefront of the industry. So if you guys have any issues or questions, make sure you reach out to Luke B for your valve train upgrades. He is our contact at Howard's Cams.
Yeah, perfect. And hey, I want to apologize real quick, guys. Eric acted very quickly, saw that I had not put the actual ad read in there, pulled it up. Dude, flawless, man. Amazing. Chef's kiss, bud. Well, we've got some breaking news that Eric may not even know about. Do you know about this breaking news that you're reading here?
You had briefly kind of hinted towards it, but you have not told me anything about it yet.
I'm so excited. There is a team putting together a new national level drag and drive event for 2025, not for 2024, even though we're early in 2024. These things take a lot of time and effort to get together and do correctly. So they have set up on, I'm not going to give any hints to the tracks or the dates, but they are both secured. So I messaged the promoter before this because they were telling me the dates they had set up. And I told them they were already 3 steps ahead of most promoters. They're already,
Nice.
you know, more than a year from the event. That's the only tip I'm going to give you. More than a year from the event, and they already have the tracks locked in. They already have the dates locked in. I'm so excited about this. This event should fit perfectly between two other large events or two other national events. This is really, we had kind of an off season there between Street and Yeet and Sick Week, and then there's Sick Summer, and then there's everything. Rocky Mountain Race Week. This is going to give us a full year of events. It's going to be absolutely insane. So we should, based on what they were saying earlier, we should see a page on Facebook come up very, very soon. So that's going to be good, and that we're going to share as many details as we possibly can, as early as we possibly can. I see Chris Story photo on here. Our boy says, "Please tell me it's early in the year." I can't give out any details. Can't give out any details yet, but as soon as we are allowed, we will certainly do that as well. Oh,
So,
just Hammer Racing. I wonder what it could be.
so let me get this straight. We have breaking news, but you're not going to tell anybody what the tracks are, when it is, or where it's at.
But we did break the news that there is a new event for 2025. Yeah, yeah. I don't want to ruin the thing for them. I want them to be able to make that huge announcement, which, based on what they were saying in Messenger, I would think we could maybe see something tomorrow, maybe over the
Oh,
weekend,
wow.
something like that. Yeah.
So very soon.
Yeah, yeah, very, very soon. So this is going to be really fun. We're going to have a crazy 2025. We talked about that a little bit last week with all of the events that are coming in 2025. This will only add to that chaos, and I just need to bring it on.
If that's not clickbait, I don't know what is.
Chris, I do need to talk to you about something after the episode tonight, so I'll give you a call and I'll give you a little more detail then as well. All right, next up, Matt from Rocky Mountain Race Week has. Whoa, you're too close. Matt from Rocky Mountain Race Week made a cryptic post last week that he is making some. He is going to make an announcement to the Junior Street program for Rocky Mountain Race Week. So, of course, your boy messaged him, "What does this mean?" He said he can't make it yet, but he intends to make it also by the weekend. So we
Oh,
should have
man.
some pretty big news by the weekend, man. I'm really pumped about that. Hopefully, that's going to be a lot of neat stuff. The Junior Street is what my daughter and I are building a car to compete in. So I hope obviously it's going to be in the right direction. It's from Matt. He gives a lot of thought to that kind of stuff. So it's going to be really cool. I'm ready. She's ready. We gotta get the cart worked on, then the old truck, then we're on to her car build for that.
Yeah, I've noticed it's a little bit tough to squeeze in our personal builds around everything else we're doing.
Yeah, you mean other than the 45 hours a week we work on this stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's hard to
you know,
work
and
on
the
your own car.
45 events that we're going to cover throughout the year.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly right. All right. Next up on the list is Mr. Six Summer and not Mr. Six Summer. Mr. Tom Bailey talked about Six Summer the other day in a town when he said Rock Falls, Illinois. I thought he said Rockford, Illinois. Dude, I about come out of my chair. So, kind of tell us what happened here. Lead us. Kind of tell us what's going on with this whole setup.
Yeah, so cities are beginning to see some benefits in the community. Rock Falls is the latest to welcome the Drag and Drive community for Six Summer. Bailey posted a video on Sick the Meg Facebook. Six Summer will be making the most of a short day, one drive day with an official opening day party in the town of Rock Falls. So I don't remember what the mileage was for that drive day, but I
Yeah, I
know
think
it
it's
was a
like
pretty
80 or something. Yeah.
yeah, it was a pretty low drive day. So racers will be able to park, enjoy live music, food trucks, local displays as the town of Rock Falls comes to support America's fastest real streetcars on their journey throughout the Midwest.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting to me because there's a lot of stuff for years now. Towns have shut down for Matt and the Rocky Mountain Race Week gang, I guess is what you'd call it, group. And so it's awesome to see other cities with other events do that same thing. This is really a huge win. You know, we have Galena, Kansas for our stuff that can't wait for our cars to come through. So again, we've been saying it. This is 2 years now. We've said drag and drive is going to be huge, and it is simply because for an event like Six Summer that has more than 300 racers going to be on site, that's 550 people.
Hmm.
That's another 1,000 people that are going to be, once you include like all of the sick ward and sick summer racers and co-pilots. I mean, we're bringing 1,000 people with us, plus all the people that want to watch that as they go. Just can you imagine there being like a downtown area that's filled with 300 plus cars?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Oh man, it's going to be
That's
nuts. I love it.
Rock Falls is only an hour from me.
Oh, perfect,
So,
perfect.
I don't what day is that going to be on? Is that on
Yeah,
Tuesday?
no, no, no. So it's after day one. So as you leave day one of racing, you'll drive to Rock Falls, hang out till you can't see anymore, and then drive home and go to work the
Oh,
next day. And you'll be like, I hate life. I want to do
yeah.
this all the time.
Yeah, so then I will likely go ahead and follow that then and follow right to Rock Falls.
That's great. That is awesome. So you guys heard it here first. Eric's going to be on site at this huge town party.
Yeah,
Man,
it's too close by to skip out on that for
yeah.
sure. Because Byron is 30 minutes from me, so it's only an additional 30 minutes to go to Rock Falls and then an
Oh
hour
yeah.
drive back. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna to drive down and hang out at that.
Yes. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Well, congratulations to Rock Falls and congratulations to the Six Summer team. That's pretty cool. I'm sure they'll have a ton of fun stuff going on there. And then let's talk about some I don't even know how to word like Austin Mackey posted on Rocky Mountain Race Weekers page about the condensation on his air to water intercooler tank. I had never even thought about that, obviously, because you and I don't have air to water intercooler tanks that we
Right.
have to worry about. But he posted on the Rocky Mountain Race Speakers page or on the group, sorry, and basically asked, "How do you keep this from putting condensation in the trunk?" Or sometimes people have those in the back seat, and you don't want that to have any kind of chance of falling out and going under the tires. So Ryan Hill commented that he uses the same method that Rich Guido uses that he got from Rick Steinke, and that's an igloo cooler.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. So he uses that for his tank. Obviously, that's not going to sweat. And then Joe Ernst is this photo here that you guys are looking at. He uses self adhesive neoprene sheets and says it's been good for 3 years. So I thought that
Okay.
was a great idea. That's going to keep, I don't know how the neoprene keeps that stuff in, but obviously it does, or he would have it out of there. And then Anthony Harville and Jason Hurley both use a tank similar to what Joe uses here but sprays it in bed liner. So
Okay.
Anthony so used a couple different steps, used some kind of like body primer or something, and then a bed liner over it. And then Jason Hurley said he took his to a bedliner spraying place and they actually sprayed it there. Said it's been great. And then Joe Barry and Nate Strunk use lizard skin on theirs, whatever that is. So I thought that
Nice.
was pretty cool, man. That's why if you are interested in drag and drive, you need to join these communities like the Rocky Mountain Race Weekers RMRW ERS page, the Drag Drive Repeat Race Car Friends group, and then of course Sick the Mag group. So it's weird to think that there's really only, I don't know, 3 or 4 Facebook groups dedicated to drag and drive right now. There's
Right.
probably, I mean, I know there's people talking about, I guess you got like the Drag
Uh,
Weekers page would
You got
also.
the UK one with Ken.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess there's like 8 or 10 of them, not 4 or 5. There's
Yeah,
definitely.
adjustable Hammer Racing said Harbor Freight underbody spray 2 coats, 3 coats of Harbor Freight bedliner.
Ah, there you go. That's Anthony Harville right there making that comment. All right.
Yeah, and lizard skin is a spray-on insulation thermal barrier.
Well, that would work perfect as well. All right, last up for the Howard's Cam community segment here. While I was at the Southeast Gassers Association, which I want to say thank you to the Sega team, but also all of the racer community. Those folks welcomed me with open arms. Literally, I had to use the bathroom, had to go pee pee. And so I had, listen, it was close. And I was walking by a racer I had not talked to. I had not put the camera on his face. I'd not taken a picture of his car even, and said, "May I please set this camera inside that trailer and go use the restroom?" Yes. When I came back, he had a bottle of water sitting by it, and we talked for 10 or 15 minutes.
That's
It's
awesome.
amazing. Yeah. So they were as good to me as the Drag and Drive community is. So I want to say thank you to all of them. The Sega team was amazing. Leslie and the whole team, Randy, Rocky, everybody that was there made it one of the best events that I've had, right? I want to also thank Travis Clark, who made it a point to make a comment on the post saying I needed to go find Tim Hall, which obviously I did because this is a picture here of the scalded dog. And it did not know that Tim was a drag week gasser class champion.
Oh wow.
So it tied in, obviously. So I went over, I had, I've got a great interview with him. I'm touch base with him after each round and everything like that. So it's a really good video that'll come out if I ever have time to put it together. Essentially, Tim's a 5-time drag week participant, which is cool. He competed in 2014, 15, 16, 17, and 18. But in 18, he did drag week and a few races for the Southeast Gassers. And at that point, he said it's too hard to run a 6 or 8 or 10 race season like this season and do a drag week competition. But those dudes are drag and drive life to the core, man. I'm telling you, they changed the fuel pump, they changed the center section on the car between rounds. Now,
Nice.
when I say these guys don't mess around, the Sega team, they don't. We started racing at 1, and we would have been done racing with almost 100 cars by 8 p.m. if there had not been an oil down.
Wow.
Crazy, crazy. So he's in C gas with this car. One cool thing he did say is that he's building a new car to go to A gas, and he's going to make this car his new drag and drive car.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah. This car was amazing. Left wheels up every time except for the last pass where they had the fuel pump issue. Every time before that, so 2 rounds of qualifying and I think at least 1 round of eliminate. Yeah, he made it through round 1, won that one, and then round 2 of eliminations was booted because of the fuel pump.
Yeah. The
So I
the
thought that was
photo
really cool.
the photos you took came out really good as well.
Yeah, there's an entire album that Eric put together. Thank you very much for doing that. I don't know how many hours he spent doing that, but I was down there getting photos and videos. Eric at the house taking care of us, getting that content out to you guys. And what's funny is if you were watching on Saturday, I said, "Hey, there's only going to be drag and drive cars that are going to be featured." But then I got down there and got all excited and everything. So it was pretty intense. Luckily, Eric sifted through all of my man, I don't know, 200 something pictures and picked the best ones, and that's what's posted up on the page. So if you haven't seen those yet, go over to Facebook, click on photos, click on albums, and look at the Southeast Gasser race.
Yeah, there's some
Pretty,
really cool
pretty
ones in
amazing.
there. The black and white one with all the cars. That one's probably my favorite one.
Yeah, I guarantee you that. And then when Scott Butler's wife was standing in front of the little Morris Minor gasser, and she's got like this shaved side, man, she looks like such a badass. It's just
Yeah.
that shot in black and white was perfect, man. You did a great job.
Yeah, I think black and white photos turn out really good when you use them on
Yeah.
the right photos, and the few that I did, I think came out great.
Yeah, I'll agree for sure. Well, if you don't mind, can I read the Molly ad
Go
this week?
for it. Yep.
Awesome. Well, guys, attention, high performance enthusiasts and sportsman class racers. Meet the Molly Motorsport Power Pack Kit, your ultimate solution for power packed performance. The Power Pack pistons are made from either 4032 aluminum alloy to allow for tighter cylinder to wall clearances and improved temperature stability, or 2618 alloy to allow for increased detonation resistance. Tailored for various engine families from small block Chevrolet to Volkswagen and Audi, they've got you covered. What sets them apart? Forged pistons, graphite coating, and phosphate treatment for peak performance and durability. Elevate your ride with Molly Motorsport, where performance meets precision. Unleash the power within. Visit mollymotorsport.com for details. And for all the folks that are listening on the podcast, Molly is spelled Mahle.
Yeah,
Yes.
Chris Story here saying he can confirm that black and white can portray such emotion that color sometimes can't.
Yeah,
That's spot on.
yep. And that dude knows. That dude knows.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, Chris, I'm gonna talk to you after this show, but I'm gonna say it now while you're on here. I hope that you can be on with us next week. That's kind of our goal for next week. I was supposed to message you earlier today, and I have not, but would love to have you on next week to talk about some of the stuff you have coming for 2024. All right, guys. If you didn't see last week's episode, you didn't know that Eric is like this genius idea guy and came up with the Molly Motorsports co-pilot spotlight. We've had some amazing submissions, and this week we're going to feature another one of those. So why don't you run us through here? This is Nick Decimine and his co-pilot. Nope, nope. I didn't put his co-pilot's name in here, and I almost remember. Hold on, I'll look it up. Will you lead us into that, and I'll look that up real quick.
Yeah. So one of the questions that we ask with this is what makes a good co-pilot? So the response was knowing what's needed on the car for all kinds of situations, having the tolerance to go on an unpredictable road trip with someone who doesn't plan much out ahead of time. That's you and I, right? That's describing you and I.
Yeah, that's 100% us. And his co-pilot that he's talking about this week is David Rebholz.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then
sorry about that.
another one of the questions we have there is tell us a funny story about your co-pilot. So in 2024 at Sick Week, he was lined up against Brett LaSala in Gainesville. He runs a 920 car compared to Brett LaSala's, 650 car. He said we lined up at the finish. His parachutes triggered my beams to break early, showing that I ran a 750. And then he said he sent that slip to all of our buddies saying that we turned up the car.
Yeah, that's the kind of co-pilot you need.
Yeah.
In the first feature we talked about Zach Stevens' mom Tina. Now we're talking about this dude helping him make Nick look great. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That's cool. So I want to say thanks to Nick for submitting that. We really do appreciate that. And there's several other stories in there. We're going to start featuring those over the next few weeks as well. And within articles on the website, which you can find this full story and all the other answers to those questions in there at dragdriverepeat.com/daily dose, which is our kind of blog site of stuff.
Yep.
You
And then from
can
the
just switch
banner
your own
at the
story.
Yep, from the banner at the top of the website, you can click on the Molly Copilot Spotlight and you can fill out that form. Again, there's just, I don't know, 5, 6 questions, racer name, vehicle, and then Copilot name, and then a couple questions, allow you to give a little bit of story that we can then relay on to everybody else. So I'm really excited about this segment. I think it's going to be a fun segment going forward. So if you guys have a good co-pilot, make sure you jump in there and fill out that form.
Yeah, definitely. And it also, what we've said for 2 years now, we have a lot of great co-pilots that don't get as much attention because they're not racing the car. But as you guys know, I feel that co-pilots are what makes this world go around. Like it's really a great way to help push the community forward, and plus, a lot of times that's a great person to have in your corner. So thanks again to them. Thanks again to Nick. Thanks again to Molly for being on board for 2024. All right, dude. Let's thank our race car friends again. You know, because we were just talking about race car friends being co-pilots.
Yeah.
Guys, we can't do this without you. Listen, Bill Elkins is backstage right now. I need you guys to hit the share button because he has. It's not a new brand, but it's a rebrand of some stuff, and they're going in a amazing direction. I can't wait. I can't wait for him to tell you all this stuff. But listen, we need more people in here to see this and hear this conversation that we're going to have with him because it's going to be awesome. So, race car friends, do that right now. Hit that share button. Okay, do that for us. And we want to thank our sponsors: Summit Racing, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Car Change 3D, Howard's Cams, Performa Built Transmissions, Sweet Patina, and Racing Junk, and our newest media sponsor, media partner, PowerTube TV, which again, you can watch this and other exclusive stuff on there after this episode airs.
Yeah, and I just gotta say, I was over at my parents' house, I don't know, a couple nights ago, and we got PowerTube TV hooked up on their Amazon Fire Stick, so they
Awesome.
can now watch everything else that's on PowerTube TV, and if they don't catch us live, they can go rewatch some of the shows on there.
Yeah. Yeah, they've really built out a great thing over there. And of course, I spent the weekend with Ray from PowerTube when we were at the Sega event. It's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome down there with him. All right, and then guys, this is a gentleman's agreement. Here's the deal. We love what we do. We love doing this, but it takes time and a lot of money to do this. So we are asking for you to make a gentleman's agreement with us. You out there, you. Yeah. I'm handsy tonight, man. Do the gentleman's agreement with us. We'll keep doing this stuff, but we need you to hit that follow or subscribe button wherever you're watching this. Please do that for us. We're live on 8 different platforms right now. Please make sure that you are following so you can be caught up on all the important information that is in the Drag and Drive community. That's our gentleman's agreement. All righty. Let's bring in our guest for this evening, Mr. Bill Elkins. Oh, hang on, dude. Stay with us. There we go. How about that, sir?
There we are.
Yeah. Hey,
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
oh man,
Yeah.
I'm excited. I don't know if you know this or not, but the word of the day is excited. Always is around here. But I'm excited to have you on. I'm excited to hear some of the stories you've got. You and I have spent some time together. What's funny is we spent a week in the same area, but only spent about 38 seconds together.
Yeah, I think I've seen you twice.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, I want you to introduce yourself, but I also want to kind of give you a little bit of a plug ahead of time. Guys, Bill is one of the hardest working dudes in all of Drag and Drive media coverage. If you don't know, he is awesome. And for a long time has been a big part of Parts Online Network, which is staying here. But Trackside Media in behind him is their new media arm that is going to be covering a ton of events. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but Bill told me the other day they're going ham on 2024. So, dude, introduce yourself. Tell them everywhere they can find you, and let's get into some of these questions.
Yeah, so I'm Bill Elkins. I've been shooting drag racing for about a little over 2 years now. Don't know if I'm the hardest working guy out there. I think a couple other guys, working just as hard. But love doing this. Yeah, like Mike said, kind of been doing this as Parts Online Network. That's how we kind of got involved. Andy owns that business over there, and he had done a few drag and drives with his parts truck, he calls it. It's an SRT 10 with a Viper motor. That is factory, contrary to what's been said. That is not
Yep.
an aftermarket. That does come in there. So kind of got started covering that. I was doing his social media, and I came from a drifting background. I shot Formula Drift for years and circle track racing and stuff like that. And kind of just came together. His love for motorsports, my love for doing the media. Like no place better to me than being out on the racetrack.
Yeah.
We have the best seat in the house. Like,
Oh yeah,
it's a lot of work, but
Exactly.
it's the best seat out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's kind of what the last 2 years have been, just kind of building it up. We've been the 6 summer drag week. Unfortunately, we missed the circuit last year. That won't happen this year. We are in for that.
Yep.
But yeah, it's been a heck of a trip. And what we kind of felt like was happening was the media brand was growing so strong that Parts Online, which is the main business that funds all this, which is it's parts business. We build SRT 10s, fix those there, Vipers, stuff like that. So it was kind of overshadowing everything. Like the two were mixing together, and it was like, is it a parts company? Is it a media company? We were looking at it like somebody new comes in and just hears Parts Online Networks out at the track, and like, well, okay, who are they? Look it up, and it was starting to get confusing. So we decided, a little while ago, that we were going to kind of take it two different directions. Coming up with a name is a pain in the butt.
Yep.
I think you may have just gone through that a little bit yourself. So that took a little bit of time. We wanted to kind of get everything in place, make sure everything was in order before we rolled it out. And we were kind of ready to roll it out this week. And it's gonna be uphill. As always, with rebuilding something new. But it's still gonna be the same. It's gonna be the same stuff.
Here's the thing, and if you've known me for a while or followed for a while, I had Narcoleptic Customs, still have Narcoleptic Customs media stuff, and that's what happened to me over there. I was literally talking about drag and drive stuff every time I got on there. Every video that came out was about it, and it just wasn't fair to those followers because we had people that wanted to see the work being done on the C10 truck that I built, or me and Steven built, and the cart and things like that, but it was being overshadowed by all of this drag and drive coverage. So that's where Drag Drive Repeat came, and it just like what you guys are doing. I think it's the right decision for the business side of stuff, and I think, dude, it's going to be so awesome for you. I think this branding of Trackside Media is an amazing name. Like that's awesome because it can really cover so many different genres, which obviously you're a part of, and drifting and circle track stuff. I don't understand anything about. I like to go straight as fast as I can. I don't know anything about turning left or right. I do want to ride in a drift car at some point in my life, but I like going straight and then driving those on the street.
And that's
we'll
similar
get you up here to PA one time. We'll get you in a drift car for sure.
Yes.
And then I did the similar thing too with creating Motorsports Paparazzi. It was the same reason. It's 815 LSX swaps, was doing trim rings and content on LS swaps, and then it's kind of broke off and created Motorsports Paparazzi. But I unfortunately haven't pushed that as hard as I probably should have been, but it's still kind of stagnant out there.
Yeah, it's just like it's like Mike said. Like you have the old fans that were there as the brand grew, and they still wanted to see the SRT 10 stuff. They wanted to see the Viper stuff, and it was like you said, it just crosses too much.
And that was still there. It's just that it was now when they get that notification from Parts Online Network, they know what they're going to see, which I think is wonderful. So tell us where you're all going to be. I mean, where can they see your stuff? Where can they follow all that?
As of right now, we did switch 2 of the Parts Online pages just over to Trackside. So that's the TikTok page and the YouTube. So if you already followed us on TikTok and YouTube, you're already there. Both those sites will get new Parts Online pages. The TikTok one is up already. The last post on there has the link to it. And then there will be another YouTube page that'll be specifically for Parts Online. And then everything else, Facebook's Trackside Media, and then Trackside Media Official everywhere else. So TikTok.
That's
YouTube,
cool, man.
Everything's Trackside Media Official.
Well, again, I'm really excited about this for you. This is, I think, a great move in the right direction. I think this is very, financially good. I think you guys can pick up some sponsors for Trackside Media and all that kind of stuff, and you'll be traveling even more because, which is good. We love that you guys are getting out. You're coming to the circuit. It's going to be a crazy event. I hope you're ready. I'm glad that you guys are coming. This is going to be a lot of fun, and maybe we can spend more time together this time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super excited to get out there. I haven't been out to that track yet at all. I don't think.
Yeah,
I've never been there, so something
Probably
new.
not.
And after watching you take the drive and the pictures from the drive, it's like, oh man, like as a media person, it looks perfect.
Dude, just wait. I think there's enough 4-lane that it's going to really get some great rollers with some good backdrops. But I think there's enough two lane that if a guy is positioned correctly, there's going to be some amazing shots that are going to come from this event and all the media. Like there's going to be like 10 different media teams at the circuit.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of the most covered regional drag and drive events out there. Like there's going to be thousands of pictures posted everywhere for it, and I can't say thank you to everybody enough so much. If you are a media person and you want to come, hit me up. Let's talk about it. Let's figure out how we can make that work. So we know where they can find you. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Let's talk about the Sick Week coverage because you guys did a great job. Hang on, I want to pull this up real quick. I pulled this from your page just literally minutes before the show started. This is what I would think is probably 2 or 3 days worth of post, maybe. You guys killed it on this setup here. I love the all run idea of people's videos. It's really a great idea. So great job on that. High five, all the stuff. It's huge,
I
huge
appreciate
win, I
that
think.
because we were a little worried with that, how that was going to kind of go over. It's definitely a different way of filming.
Yeah.
Can't say I was a huge fan of doing it. It takes a little bit of the creativity out of it. That's what I said. Just recording the full runs, but I think the intent was a lot of the runs get clipped. A lot of people are filming for a specific person or purpose, and there's a lot of runs that just don't get seen, and those people want to see their stuff too.
Yep.
Just alone from the fact that you can go back and look at your full run and you can see how the car reacts off the line, and
Right.
I think that helps a lot of guys set up stuff.
Well,
It
here's the
definitely
thing. I'll guarantee you, Joe Haney's never seen his car from that angle making a pass from most days of the race. Same for Nicola Latow and Kyle Wade and Randy Seward, and I mean Lutz probably has, but Richie Webb hadn't, and I almost guarantee you Damon Elf hadn't either. And this is just a smidgen of the videos that you guys put out from this. So this is a really good idea. I think this is really cool. Plus, it gives people a reason to go in there, watch their video, and then share it. Listen, if you people don't understand what I'm telling you, share this stuff. Like that's, dude.
it does help. It really helps.
Yeah, Bill. Let me ask you this: how much money did Richie Webb give you to make that video? He didn't give you any money, did he?
No.
That's right.
No,
Right.
no.
So listen, that video that is 1 minute and 18 seconds long, that probably took Bill an hour at least to put together because you have to go through and watch those videos all over again. You've got to label those videos so you make sure that you don't have to search for them next time. So if there's, let's say, 5 passes within this video, y'all, I'm telling you, that's an hour. I know it. I've done that work. It's hard.
Well, the part that kind of got me was a lot of times, they'd make 3-4 passes a day because their first 3 passes wouldn't be good ones. So I'd have to go back and it was basically just cross-referencing the timesheets and looking and seeing which run matched up to their best run of the day, going through, looking at the time at the end of the run and going, okay, I think that was it. And then sometimes the sun's glaring on it. It's like, is that it?
Yep. Dude, hey, listen, this is a great idea. And I hope that people understand, like, you're like us, dude. This is the gentleman's agreement for Bill. I'm doing the gentleman's agreement for Bill Elkins right now. Listen, Bill's going to keep working hard for you guys. You go follow or subscribe to their channel, Trackside Media. Hang on, let me pull this up right here. You go find that right now, wherever you're at. Jump off of this and go find it and then come back.
I think one of the cool things that I that happened from doing filming like that every day was we missed less than 10 runs in the entire week.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So if you go back and watch, we have a day 0, a day 1, a day 2, and a day 3, and a day 4 video, which is just all the runs. And I challenge you to go find your run missing. So it's in there. If you ran, you're in there.
Well, and let's talk about your media team that went to Sick Week, and then let's talk about what you guys are doing for Sick Summer and Drag Week. So how many people went down and held a video camera or a photo camera for you guys during Sick Week?
Me.
Okay.
Me. Andy did go with. Andy took care of kind of doing all like the social media and the live streaming and stuff like that because we do TikTok and all that at most of the events we're at. So he took care of that. It was just me filming. We do have a much better plan going for Six Summer and going drag week and stuff. We're gonna, I think it's like a three or four person team we're gonna probably be going with. So
yeah, we're going to talk about that in a second, but I want you guys to understand that's why I love Bill. I love the work that he puts in, because that's hard, dude. That is
Yeah.
hard to spend 6 hours minimum, basically on the starting line or at the 60 foot or 330, wherever you were recording from, and watch every car go down. Like, do you know how hard that is for people?
Yeah. It's a lot.
The next time somebody's at the track and they're like, "Oh, I think I could be a media person," just get your phone out and record every pass. Okay. You can't, and then go home and edit that. Just go home and edit it, and see how much work Bill has done for you guys at the house. So I hope that people understand how hard you worked for them, and will repay that favor by going to Trackside Media on all social and share it. Anyways, okay, I'll get off my soapbox here. Let's talk about your plan for Six Summer and Drag Week.
yeah,
What
like I
you
said,
guys put out?
Six Summer, hopefully we'll be driving. Hopefully parts truck will be going.
Nice.
And then we'll have a couple other people helping out with the media. Pretty much going to be the same.
Yeah.
If we can get that second person to shoot video, which I think we do have a guy in place that's going to be able to handle it. So he'll be doing the all run stuff. That'll open me up to do more photos, because unfortunately I didn't get to do much photos at Sick Week. I say not much. I think I did like 2,000 photos for the week.
That's awesome.
90% of that was on the road stuff, like rollers and at the checkpoints, because weren't really doing much videos for that stuff.
Well, and what I really wanted to talk about was how you guys approached finding someone to go with you. They made a post on Facebook and maybe on Instagram too. I didn't see it there, but definitely on Facebook is where I saw it. And it was like, hey, if you want to go to this, but you don't want to make the financial investment of driving yourself, come with us. Be part of our media team, which I think is amazing for up and coming media professionals, people that want to do this kind of coverage. They can come. They're covering obviously their own food, but they're getting to ride with you guys in the cars. They're getting to. I mean, basically, I would love to do that just because I think it'd be perfect for someone to be able to pick your brain as they go along. So they can understand what the work that goes into this. But I thought it was really cool the way you guys approach it. Like, hey, if you've never been on one of these and you want to go, this is your best chance to go. This is your least cost effective way to go, is to go and be help for the team to get more media content.
Exactly, and we're gonna put you to work, but I mean, it is fun, and like you said, being able to help somebody that might be coming up and trying to learn, that's kind of something I've always instilled in what I do. Even back when I was doing drifting, I would, other people would come and shoot under me. I run a track up here called Evergreen Raceway, the media there, and I have no problem doing like days where it's just like, hey, bring your cameras out. It's a test day. It's not serious. We'll sit down. We'll talk about what settings you should put stuff at. And I don't claim to know hardly anything. I'm all self-taught. I didn't go to school for none of this. I just ended up with a camera in my hand, like doing what I was doing, and I just try to shoot what I like to see.
Yeah.
And
other people seem to enjoy it.
Yeah. Hey, dude, I know. I love it. I love it. So I think that's really cool. So if you guys, obviously it sounds like maybe you have a person set up for Six Summer. What I would say
we do have somebody for Six Summer, and we do have somebody already in place for Drag Week.
Perfect.
But there are a couple other events we're looking to hit this year. So if you're looking maybe to get involved, keep an eye on our pages, and we might put out another thing, just kind of like Mike said, that if we're looking for somebody.
That's awesome. So you talked about how many photos you took, around 2,000 photos for Sick Week. How many videos did you take? I know I took 1,100 by myself on the big camera, so I can't imagine what you did.
Yeah, it was a little over 2,000, and again, 95% of that was just straight runs. So it was just.
You record each one individually.
Tree to the line, yeah, individually. Just I try to get back for the burnout, but I mean they keep them going, which I appreciate. Like, let's go. Most of the time it's hot out here. We're standing there all day. I appreciate the keep it going attitude. So, but yeah, it does. You don't get back for the burnout. They're already staged up, getting ready to go on the tree by the time you get turned around. Because something I learned, and this has been a process too. Is like, well, one of the big complaints I've always seen from like when I first started doing this was, oh, hey, you're not showing the scoreboard, you're not showing the time. So that was something you always added in because I'd be too worried about getting back for the burnout. Because hey, the
Right.
burnouts were cool in videos, and we were doing more music video type stuff, so we needed more of that stuff. But that's where having that second shooter is going to come in, and
Yeah.
just hey, you shoot the burnout.
Yeah.
And
Well, and man, that'll be thinking about your process. So typically, like I will, and Eric hates when I do this because I'm a shoot the burnout, give me 7 seconds of video, stop recording, let them get both bulbs lit on the beam, and then I hit record again. So then, or if I know it's a big turbo car and they're going to take time to spool up, they'll light the first bulb and then I'll hit record. But you end up with twice as many videos, but I feel like it's half the time of editing because I don't have to then cut down the say 40 seconds that it takes to get from the burnout box into the bulbs. I don't have to do that on every video I do. So
right, and chances are you're not going to be standing in the same spot identically. You're going to walk around, and
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
I definitely agree. It creates a lot more videos, but it does take time out of the editing. If you
Yeah.
I wonder if having two people, if you could almost like alternate passes, so then one person gets the burnout and the pass, and then the second person starts recording the next car coming up. That might be another option to get all of them.
Well,
Yeah.
I think
I
Bill's
was
probably
just like,
thinking of
it's
down
kind
the
of like
track.
right, and it's kind of like Mike said too. Like it depends on, you can get a car that might do the burnout and then stage right up and go, but
Yeah.
then you'll have two turbo cars, I guess, that'll take 30, 40 seconds to get in the bulbs and stage up, and
Yep.
Yeah.
you got 40 seconds of video you got to scrub through, and
Yeah, one of the hardest things I struggled with this last weekend at the Southeast Gaster deal was picking a lane. I wanted to try and get both, but to do that, you got to be back so far that
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense. And so, man, just having to pick one lane and focus on that was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do.
that
And I was-
event looked really cool.
oh,
Like there was a
man,
lot of cool rides there.
yeah, wait till these videos come out. It's going to be nuts. I'm working on a whole new style of editing and some stuff Eric and
Nice.
I are working on. It'll be a lot of fun. It'll be really cool. But back to Trackside Media. Sorry. I do want to talk about this deal here. I want to switch gears just a second because you have one of the coolest ideas out there. You bring along. Obviously, I had to throw the selfie in with me and you, but you bring along a stuffed animal. Yes. So tell us the story behind this, and then I see Tyler is in the green area back there. So we'll let this kind of lead us into uh, saying you'll be on later. But tell us about the sunflower.
Yeah, it came up drag week last year. My son really started getting into like shooting the media with me. He was 5 last year. He's 6 now, but he's kind of gotten into doing the media. He wants to be like dad. So he really wanted to go to drag week. Had to break it to him. You're starting school. You can't go. You're not old enough. Like sister's still too young. Can't bring the whole family. Another year or two. And he's like, just came up to me with the sunflower. It's from Plants vs Zombies. It's an old game if anybody knows. And he's like, well, will you take my buddy Sunflower with you? And then he'll come back and tell me all about the trip. And it was like, all right, yeah, I'll do that. And I kind of broke it out the first day. It was just taking pictures and sending them back to him. And I posted them online, and it just kind of, everybody seemed to like it. And the cool thing I like about it is no matter whether people have heard about it or not, or seen it, just me walking up to them, either I look completely stupid and psycho, which is possible, or like they just get a kick out of it. But it makes everybody smile. Everybody smiles. I mean, to see Tom Bailey and Vanderhoof and Goldstone all smiling, like who gets pictures of those guys smiling half the time? Like,
Nobody.
Nobody.
Yep. Yeah, this is really a cool idea, and man, anytime I see it, it's always fun to see that. And then obviously go back. You posted those on your personal page, on Facebook, dude. There's probably 60 or 70 on there. I would say at least.
Altogether between Sick Week and Drag Week, at Sunflower Pictures, I think there's over 1,000.
Wow. Dude,
and those are just simple cell phone pictures. I just hold the cell phone, and
Yep.
like I said, that's just mainly for him, and the people kind of like it. So I've seen a few profile pictures with sunflower in the background still, and like it's cool, it's neat.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's really a great idea, and stuff like that. I don't even want to say that's gimmicky because man, it's really really cool, and it's a really great story for your son. And obviously, dude, anytime you can bring those kids in, and that gives him a story to tell. I'm sure he goes to school and tells all of his buddies about how dad went to watch all these drag cars all week. So pretty cool, man.
Yeah, it is neat. It's neat to see, and like like you said, if I'd have come up with it on my own, it'd be gimmicky. But just the
Yep,
having it be genuine and through a kid, it just was
yep,
kind of this thing that worked out, and
yep.
I'm sure we'll see him down at the circuit.
There we
Oh yeah,
go.
bring it on, dude. That'll be awesome. And Red Hat Scotty kind of did the same thing with one of his daughters. She was too young to go, and so she's like, "Here, please take this." And so he ran around all week getting pictures with the stuffed animal, and I love it, man. It's amazing. It's amazing.
You'd be
The
surprised how many I've run into already. Like they
yeah,
got them in the back of the cars, strapped to the
yep,
roll cage and stuff. And they're like, make sure you get a picture with that one in there. That's my daughter's, or that's my son's,
yep.
or that's my
Well,
grandkids. And
yeah, just this here. I mean, it's in the seat, strapped in next to the unicorn.
yeah, He actually rode in the milk truck. He
Nice.
went down, got him in the milk truck doing the wheelie. He's sitting in the cup holder on there, and yeah.
Cool. How cool. Well, dude, again, tell everybody where they can find you. And then, listen, this won't be the last time you're on here. We want you to be a recurring guest. Come on here, talk a bunch, because we love what you do and how you do it.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Like I said, the new stuff is Trackside Media. If you guys followed us parts online, you're already there for most of it. If not, Trackside Media official on all the sites except Facebook. That's just Trackside Media.
Sweet.
And definitely appreciate you guys having us on.
Yeah.
We are definitely looking forward to the circuit, and
Dude, bring it
we'll
on.
see you then.
Oh, hey, one last thing. One last thing.
Go for it.
Did everybody see the post of your stuff the other day? How you guys are the official media sponsor for the fastest streetcar shootout tribute race that the
Yes.
Hamlets are hosting, bro?
Yeah.
Huge win. Huge
Yeah.
win. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
like I said, we wanted to kind of come out big.
Yeah.
Me and Andy love the idea that they came up with, and Havlic's doing there.
Yes.
That's pretty much where this all came from. What we do, so it was neat to see him doing that, and I think it's turning out to be a really cool event. So yeah, we wanted to be involved and spoke with him and made it happen.
Yes. Well, congratulations to you. Again, thank you so much for coming on tonight. This was really short notice, but dude, I think it worked out well, and we're going to have you
Anytime, man.
on very, very soon, and we'll see you at the circuit.
All right,
Yep.
Eric, Mike, have a good night. Appreciate
Yep,
it, guys.
you too.
Thank you. We'll see you there.
See
Later.
ya.
Take care.
How fun, man. I'm
Yeah.
telling you guys, he's one of my favorite people in all of Drag and Drive.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty cool. And it sounds like we'll be at quite a few events that he's going to be at as well.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely going to be there. They're always everywhere we go, and they do as much drag and drive footage coverage as we do. Well, let's run into a segment here real quick, and then we're going to bring Tyler on after that. So let's talk about some event updates. Like I said earlier, we're going to move some things around as we go through here the next couple weeks. We're trying some new things out, right? So event updates from Driven Racing Oil. If you're all right, I'll read this one. Cool.
Go for it.
Sweet. All right. Why gamble with performance or protection when you get proven results from Driven Racing Oil? Trusted by top engine builders, winning racers, and devoted horsepower enthusiasts around the world, Driven takes legendary base oils, such as the ones from Bradford, Pennsylvania, which comprise their GP1 line. Then Driven boosts that superior base with the state of the art additive packages. Driven GP1 Nitro 70 not only provides anti-wear protection, but can even shield cylinders from washout and fuel dilution caused by using methanol or nitro-based fuels. Man, can we get some nitro in Drag and Drive? That'd be awesome. Learn more about Driven Racing Oil by following them on Facebook and Instagram at Driven Racing Oil, or shop now at drivenracingoil.com. All right, dude. I want to say thanks again to the Driven Racing Wheel team. I swung by on Friday, basically unannounced. Had like 10 minutes heads up that I was going to come by, and they welcomed me with open arms. It was amazing. Huge, cool team of people down there. Love them, and I'm asking them if they will be on next week's show. I'd love to do them. Love to have them on, and then we do like an after hours where we kind of drink some beers and tell fun stories. All right. Event updates for this week. The Hard Ass 1000 has completed. It ended last Saturday with a big shootout. I haven't seen the stats yet, though. I
Yeah, I
want,
haven't either.
yeah, been watching for that pretty heavily. Haven't seen those yet, but it does look like those people had some fun.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, listen, those folks got down to business and had a blast, man. It looked absolutely wild. And based on the posts I've seen and the comments on all that stuff I've seen, they're doing it again automatically. I think they're already probably set up for that for 2025. So
Yeah.
congratulations to them. I know putting on a big event like that is hard, and I can't imagine what it's like putting one on in a country that doesn't want you to drive cool cars on the street.
Yeah, and they put out daily videos as well from the event.
Yep. Yep. Pretty crazy stuff. All right. And then the BC Drag It Challenge, they and I have been messaging back and forth, emailing back and forth. And so one of our biggest questions is always checkpoints. It's always what are the racers going to see on these routes and all that stuff. So they replied back to some of that with some photos, several photos that I'll post after the show tonight. But they said the checkpoints are not your typical checkpoints. Racers and crews will have to decipher what the actual checkpoint is from what information is giving to them. Thought that was pretty cool, or given to them. Usually a historical spot or landmark along the 950-mile route. Kind of cool. Small town airstrips and concrete drag strips will make up their passes. I think this is really neat. Sweden, the Street Week Sweden does this style setup where they actually have an airstrip one day because there's not as many drag strips there. So I would imagine it's the same way for BC Drag It Challenge. There's not as many drag strips on that side of Canada, on the west coast of Canada. So it says the elevations are going to range from 1,320 feet to 3,470 feet. Thought that was kind of cool. And then they have daily incentives: Racer of the Day, Bullseye contest. So kind of probably taking that from like the Sick Week idea, and
Yep.
then trailer category. So I want to see what that means. I'm sure that's going to who has the coolest trailer, all that kind of stuff. And then they wouldn't give me any more detail, but it said this year we've also thrown in quotations, a twist. I don't know what that means, but I'm kind of excited to see this event. Last year, I think they had like 60 something cars, and they've got more than double that signed up for this year. So should be pretty intense. And as you can see, these photos, pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, look at the background on that.
yeah, a lot of this stuff is kind of in that same area that Chris Story and Phil Balmaceda took on their way up to Alaska Speed Week. So, I mean, this shot here, put it
Yeah.
over the top for me. And so this is 3 of about 9 or 10 pictures that they sent me. So I'll get those posted up after the show tonight. But just amazing. I mean, when you see really cool cars now, this is probably one of the airstrips or drag strips, maybe. I can't tell if that's a guardrail on the side or just a fence.
Yeah, it's tough to see.
Yeah. So it looks like it's maybe the drag strip. So pretty cool. I can't wait to see photos from it again this year. And you can follow BC Drag It Challenge on Facebook and Instagram as well. Tons of photos have come out since last year. They've done a really, really good job. They're one of the best teams of promoters that I've seen. So if you are anywhere near the west coast of British Columbia or Oregon or Washington, take a look at this event. This I think would be a good one, and it's one of the national level events for this year. So pretty cool stuff. And again, I'll get that posted up here shortly. And then, of course, we got to update you on the circuit because we are now just a few weeks from the event. It gives me heart palpitations thinking
Yeah.
about it now because it's man, we're right here. So I want to congratulate one of our route stops. The Boots Court Motel has been chosen to receive the Golden Hammer Award for a commercial business. So
Yeah, I saw
I
that.
don't know what a Golden Hammer is, but that's freaking cool, man.
Yeah, right.
But did you see the date that the awards ceremony is on?
Yeah, April 19th.
Yeah, that's the day we're going to be driving through there.
Yeah.
So I hope there's a huge turnout for this award ceremony. I know there will be a huge turnout for the circuit racers. There's at least 150 cars headed their way. If everybody makes it through day one, hopefully day one of racing, they can make it through and get there. So I think leading into this is going to be really, really cool. I don't know where the Phelps Country Estate is, but we don't care about them because all we care about is the Boots Court Motel, and Jeremy and the team over there have obviously done a great job updating that. And then again, this visitor center that we're going to be using is literally on the same property. And I think this is going to give one of the coolest backdrops for a route stop that is in anywhere for 2024 Drag and Drive. And I'm
Nice.
hoping that maybe that means that some of the other drag and drive events that are coming through the area, Rocky Mountain Race Week or 666, will also use the Boots Court. It just gives them a great opportunity to help promote all of their stuff moving forward.
Yeah, and I believe they've been sharing a bunch of the circuit posts as well.
Yep, almost every one of them, man. It's amazing. Them and Gearhead Curios. I mean,
Yep.
they're awesome, huge supporters of ours. And the reason we chose Gearhead Curios as the route stop is because last year, after we used cars on the route, the team at Gearhead Curios messaged me and was like, "Hey, how do we get in on this? Are you coming back to the area?" And that is solely the only reason we're driving from Mokan to Galena, Kansas, is because of Gearhead Curios. So keep those guys just, man, awesome, awesome stuff. And then, hey, BC Drag It Challenge saying thank you. You're welcome. We appreciate all the support you give us on that side, and then also helping with the pictures and things like that, and the write up is amazing. So I'll get that posted up tonight after the show. All righty, well, let's bring on our guest here in just a second. Tyler West is the general manager of Mokan Dragway. One of man, listen, Mokan Dragway holds a very special place in my heart. I've hosted events there for more than 11 years. I've hosted 15, 16 events there. This will be our 6th year to host a Drag and Drive event there. They have always been amazing to us. They have taken care of us at times where they shouldn't have. When I started doing this a long time ago with Jonathan Stonecipher, that I was nobody. I had never even been to Mokan before, and we've created a friendship, and they are amazing people to deal with. And tonight we have Tyler West on, who is the GM of that. And I just want to kind of give you guys a sense of like who we're going to see there. Now, I mean, if Tyler comes over and talks to us, it'll be surprising because this is one of the hardest working dudes of any track that I've ever been to. And so I hope he can. We'll talk to him about coming over to the driver meeting for the circuit, which happens in just a few weeks. But I just wanted to put this out there first. If you have an opportunity to speak to them or visit this track, please do. If you are a promoter, we're going to talk about some tips for aspiring promoters that are coming up, and from Tyler's side of stuff, like from the track side of stuff. And then we'll also talk about a little bit of everything that goes on behind the scenes, and then also kind of how he got to the point of where he's at. All righty, let's take this down. This is obviously, you see the circuit on there, huh? Rocky Mountain Race Week and Route 66.
I
Man,
see
gonna
that.
be gonna be a great year for Mokan Dragway. Mr. Tyler West, how are you this evening, sir?
Good, guys. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
Oh
we're
man,
good.
I'm excited about you being on here tonight. I'm excited about some of the tips and tricks that you can kind of give us, and obviously taking the time out tonight to spend with us here. I know 8 p.m. on a Wednesday, you're probably doing something other than talking to a bunch of Drag and Drive folks. So we appreciate your time tonight.
Yeah, it was a long day at the racetrack today. Had stuff to get done, but no, I'm happy to join you guys.
Well, that's awesome. Well, if you will, kind of give us a small recap, just shorten it up because we're going to talk about it later, but kind of give us a recap of like, you know, how you got here, and then also like what's the daily life of a GM at a racetrack?
Well, I mean, just start off. I mean, I started off begging my grandpa, my neighbor, anybody, take me to the racetrack, please. I'd love to go. And so started off like that as a kid. Turned 14, you get a learner's permit in Kansas. That's good to get you to work or school. And I figured, well, I better get a job at the drag strip. So Carl and the Blanton family welcomed me in back then, and it's just kind of been part of the family ever since, I guess.
Wow, that's really cool. I didn't know that. I knew you had kind of grown up close-ish to the track. I didn't know you had actually worked there as a young man. That's pretty cool, man. That's a
Yeah.
talk about a cool job, dude. I never even thought about working at a racetrack. Not that I could have. I was an hour from Joplin, but dude, that's awesome.
Well, and the whole deal was I wanted to race my 18-second car. I wanted to go out there and race, and in order to drive out there, I needed to have employment. So I'd show up a few hours early and help pick up trash and work the front gate, and then I wouldn't get paid anything. I'd just get handed a tech card when they didn't need me anymore. So off I'd go to race.
Nice. Well, that's pretty cool. Well, big shout out to Carl and Craig and the team over there that made all of that possible and then eventually made this possible because
Yeah.
kind of walk us through like your career real quick. You were at a track beforehand. How did you get there?
So I had worked part time at Mokan as an announcer and whatever they needed me to do kind of job. Um, but that was just on the weekends. I always wanted a full time job in motorsports,
Mhm.
but I never really knew where I would fit in. Um, I was able to take a chance and send out some applications with. I think at the time I had like 12 years of part time
Wow.
drag strip employment on my
Yeah.
resume. That with what I'd been doing 9 to 5 was enough to get me a corporate. I was the director of corporate partnerships at Memphis,
Oh,
um, and I loved that job. It was so cool. Drag strip, road course, NASCAR track, and I got to sell all the sponsors for it.
wow.
There were times that I was like, I don't know if I have any business being here, but it was really cool.
Yeah.
So COVID hit, shut down most all of the entertainment venues, um, racetracks included. The list of tracks that the company that I worked for, they realized, hey, our Florida track is going to be getting ready to open, and they wanted to ship me down to Palm Beach. So I was at Palm Beach International Raceway, drag strip operations,
Nice.
um, oversaw half of a world class facility down there, and that was a totally different universe. Um, I don't
For
know
a
how.
boy, for a dude from Kansas, I bet.
Yeah, I mean the town I grew up in doesn't even have a stoplight or McDonald's, so uh, Palm Beach was wild. But that was a little bit too corporate for me from where I grew up.
Yeah.
I there's a fine line in motorsports between uh, a great grassroots facility and one that's a dump, and a facility that's ran uh, with corporate structure and one that's just corporatey and gross. So, um, but I got some experience in the corporate side of running a racetrack, and then wanted to find a track that was a lot like Mocan that. Had a lot of history. And so then that took me to Amarillo, Texas. I spent 2 years in Amarillo doing everything possible to try to bring that track back
Mhm.
to what it used to be. We got a new timing system put in out there, and really made a pretty significant impact in the community of letting them know, hey, we're
That's awesome.
here. And then got the call, said, hey, we want to bring you back to Mocan. We think it's time. Uh, and at any point, I could have been a week into my job in Memphis or any of the other places. If Carl called and said, "Hey, I need you," I'd be there in a hurry. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Can I start in the morning?
yeah, and that was pretty much how it worked. So,
If I leave now, I can be making announcements tonight.
yeah, yeah. I think, in
So
fact, I moved back. I finished up the season in Amarillo, and there was still about a month of racing left out here. The same day that I unloaded my U-Haul, it was a Friday. There was a test and tune. I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta
I
be there
gotta go.
right now. Yeah.
How
So
cool, man. Well, that's pretty awesome. Well, how long have you been at Mokan? And then let's start talking about kind of the season and things like that.
So this is the beginning of my second year being a full-time employee. I say, general manager. It's just a title. Um, if you go to Mocan, you'll see the general manager fixing toilets and picking up trash.
Yeah.
Like there's not
It means
anything that.
you're the first one to get yelled at.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's awesome. Well, like I said before we brought you on, man, that team out there is so amazing. They've been so good to us over the years, and last year was an awesome first time to meet you. And dude, it's only gotten better. We from like a spectator and promoter side, I feel like this is a huge win for them. Uh, a lot of new life being breathed into the track, into the facility. You guys have done a great job over the last 15 months, really stepping up your game as far as social media and everything.
Yeah, I think just more hands less work kind of situation. Whether that's big uh, manual labor type projects or the social media side
Yeah.
of pumping content out. Um, and we've got a great group of photographers that are out there every weekend that
Yeah.
make our jobs really easy to come up with fresh content. So yeah, and on a communication side,
Yeah.
you as one of our promoters have two contacts. Um,
Yeah.
if there's something that you need, Craig might be on the mower, but I might just be, playing slot machines on my phone. I don't know.
I know,
So
I was saying, I know that's a lot. Yeah, you guys stay so busy. So let's talk about the season because you guys kick off pretty early. The last few years I've been to the day one racing, but I didn't get to make it this year. So when did you guys kick the season off?
we got to click the season, get the season going early this year. Our first scheduled event was supposed to be the first weekend in March, but it was the last weekend in February where the forecast just decided it's going to be 75 degrees and
Yeah.
beautiful, and we'd be silly not to open up the gates.
Yeah.
And it turns out that was the right call. We were swamped
Oh,
for the season opener. It was awesome, and everybody's itching to get back. Although on our end, the off season feels like it's a few weeks. Um, it
well, it kind of is like we didn't get to catch up at PRI, but you were there with them, and you go from the 1st of December to the end of February. Dude, that's not very much time.
yeah, it flies by, and there's a lot of stuff to get done over the off season because it's the time that we have to stop and tear stuff down, and actually have a few weeks
Yeah.
to get stuff worked on. But it's never long enough. But now that we're back in the swing of things, even though we run like 80 events a year, we were giddy about getting to open
Yeah.
the gates up for the first time this year. We missed race car noises, so it's glad to be back.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's
So you
awesome.
got so you got three drag and drive events coming to Mocan this year. You got the circuit, Rocky Mountain Race Week, and 666. So is this your first year as a track manager, going through and having a drag and drive event there?
Aside from last year's circuit event,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah,
this'll but and of course now the circuit, you guys are hitting another track.
yeah,
This will be our first time seeing who comes back, I guess you
yeah,
could say.
Yeah.
You know, uh, but
yeah. This
yeah,
year's going to
and
be a
and
lot harder on racers because of the second day of racing. Last year we just drove south to Arkansas and back, so it's like you could go at whatever speed your car could handle it. Well, this year we're racing Friday, racing Saturday, and racing Sunday, so that'd be
yeah,
pretty intense.
and I'm sure there's going to be stories of carnage as soon as you guys roll in on
Yeah,
your third day of racing, I guess.
yeah,
But and then as far as Rocky Mountain Race Week and 666 goes, this is our first time working with these guys, so we're excited to get three Dragon Drives of events at our
yeah.
facility this year. That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, I'll say I don't know if you were watching last week or not, but I had this thought of like, is Mokan the track that that will host the most events or drag and drive race days? I guess probably a better way to word that in 2024, and you're actually second behind Mokan Dragway, which will have five race days. So pretty crazy, man. Like I can't wait for all of these racers to see the track that I've been talking about for 10 years. It's going to be really cool, man. The vibe that everybody's going to get there, and folks are going to be coming from Oklahoma City to Mocan for Rocky Mountain Race Week, dude. That's a huge trip to make.
That's going to be a long haul. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I obviously not all of them are going to be there when we open the gates up, but uh, yeah. At what point does the Mocan hospitality, dude, we have to we have to
Yeah.
draw the line somewhere. But like these guys that just make it in with 20 minutes to go, we're about ready
Oh,
to shut the track. This is going to happen.
yeah.
Um, but it's not the Mocan way to go. Sorry, you're too late.
Yep.
Like the
Yeah,
the
that's
Mocan way is, yeah, get up there, sneak one in. I bet we can make it happen.
Yep. And man, you guys have made concessions for us so many times over the years. We really do appreciate it. And I think this year again is going to be a great way for all of the promotion. Like I said earlier, there's going to be 10 or 11 media teams that are there for just our event. So hopefully by the time all of that stuff hits social media and is out there in the world, and then Rocky Mountain Race Week comes in with 1.0 in June, dude, I hope we pack that place with spectators, just absolutely pack it. And then the momentum from Rocky Mountain Race Week being there, and then coming 666 coming from Ozark to Mocan, dude, it's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be nuts.
And we realize that this is kind of a perfect storm. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not going to be every year that everything lines up that us little track middle of the country
yeah,
gets 3 drag and drives events. So we really want to thrive. We
yeah.
want to hold up to these high expectations that Michael Narks has been spreading around about how great we are.
Well, man, listen, one of the coolest things about the track now, I visited 24 different racetracks last year, right? Lots of racetracks. I feel like, and it's not just bias, but I feel like the vibe at Mocan is vintage drag racing. You guys, we're going to talk about events that you have coming up for the rest of the year, but you guys just hosted the Hot Rod Reunion the other day, which is all vintage dragsters. Like, you can go to this track, I would say probably 4 or 5 events a year, and it would be like some of these photos, if placed right, because you guys have some updated stuff, placed right, it could be 1965, 1975, which you guys were open then. So it's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, the track has a personality, and it doesn't really seem to matter what big upgrades we do to modernize the facility. It still has just the same kind of feel of a good old drive-in burger place or
Yeah. Yeah, that's
a
probably the best way to put it. Yep.
yeah, it's got a feel to it
Yep.
that that the place has been around for a while.
Yep.
Probably because it's not all like goofy motorplexy and it's
So, yeah.
there's not, I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah.
Um,
And just the scenery leading up to the track, you're out, it's flat, it's like you guys are in the country. I mean, literally people it Mocan is MO-KAN because dude, I think does the does the lane straddle the state line or is it like 10 feet from the track? Like it's really close to the Missouri Kansas line.
so the state line is probably a quarter of a mile off to the west,
Oh, nice.
but at one point in time, Missouri had a legal drinking age of 18, and in Kansas, you had to be 21. And I think this was in the 80s. So the everyone thought that the racetrack was the state line. And so you had all these 18, 19, 20-year-olds that were hanging out in the pits so that they could drink legally. And I always thought that was a cool
That's awesome.
idea. Yeah.
That's pretty fun. Well, let's talk about some of the events you got coming up. We talked about Hot Rod Reunion. Sadly, that was the same weekend I was in Georgia for the Southeast Gassers, or I would have been up there because this is my new style of racing. I think it's second to Drag and Drive, but it was really fun hanging out with all the folks up there. But what are some of the other events you guys have coming?
So we are big on nostalgia racing, which
Mhm.
as you got to see, is a pretty cool group of people.
Yeah.
Um, we're lucky that we get to do a bunch of it. So we've with the spring hot rod reunion that we just did. Um, we have like a summertime component to that. That's called the Spam Drags, and then the fall hot rod reunion in October. And those are all Mokan promoted events that have car show, drag racing, swap meet. They're our favorite, I guess, of our specialty events, you could say. Um,
Absolutely.
we, we do Mopar races, we do Ford races, we do truck races, we do motorcycle races, and then the big three holiday races that we do. The Memorial Weekend Classic is in its 58th year.
Wow.
Um, our anniversary race, which hasn't always been contested, but we're now doing an annual anniversary race each July. And so that we're celebrating our 62nd anniversary event this year. And then our Labor Day Weekend Classic is in its 59th year.
God.
So those three events are our big three, and those are where we see where we're at capacity and what we need to work on to put more
Yeah.
people in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And for folks that want to get an idea of like how the facility is laid out, man, you've got parking all over the place. But I can't imagine what it's like on. I haven't been to one of the huge races there, but I'm gonna have to make that work this year.
It's cool to look out from the stairs at the top of the tower and go, we're about out of spots. I don't know if we can fit anyone else in here right now.
How cool, man!
Um,
That's awesome.
but thankfully, we haven't had to turn anyone away.
Yeah,
It all works out, I guess. But and we have all those big events, these specialty events. The Dragon Drives, and we do a few charity races. But we have
301 streetcars,
yes, yeah,
301
301
streetcar shootout.
streetcars. They will
Love those
be
folks.
Saturday, September 21st. And
Yeah.
they're a fun group to work with.
Oh yeah.
But we are super fortunate to have an amazing bracket program.
Mhm.
And it's part of it is because of the way the track has been ran for so many years, but we have a huge group of racers. The town that I grew up in of 2,000 people has like 5 or 6 people that compete in our bracket series, and that's just one town. I mean, it's we
Wow.
get and so running bracket races between our specialty events. It's a good solid program that we're in, a good solid schedule that we're able to put together with, like I said, I think we are just shy of 80 events that are open to the public. That's not counting
Wow.
track rentals and some of the other rental opportunities that we've got. So it's going to be a long season. This Friday is our last Friday that we have free to do anything we want
Wow.
until uh, the end of October. So
Wow.
yeah, it's going to get
Dude,
busy.
That's awesome.
it's so crazy. That's so crazy. I can't even imagine that. But dude, get it when you got it. You know what I mean? Like Friday,
Yeah,
Saturday, Sunday are going to be huge days for a track to be open. That's what you got to do.
yeah.
Yeah. So let's switch gears a little bit here. So you probably work with quite a few promoters on getting events into the track. Do you have any tips that you can give inspiring promoters?
Well, the number one thing would be communication. There are so many details that go into an event, um, that it's hard to stay on top of all of them.
Yeah.
If communication and organization, and doing all of this way ahead of schedule and not the week of the event. I think a lot of whenever I think promoters, it's not just drag racing promoters, but race promoters in general.
Yep.
You know, there's kind of a negative connotation around these guys because they come in, it's fly by night kind of deal, and they're there for one weekend out of your entire season, and it's really easy for people to have a bad taste in their mouth about a promoter if they're not treated right. And I just heard it said the other day that for the promoters that have one event at one track, and this was a NASCAR thing that I was listening to, is you get one chance to make it right. It doesn't, finances shouldn't really factor in too much. Obviously that's important that you don't lose a ton of money. You want to make some money too. But as a promoter going into a track, you have one chance to make things right. And if you don't make the right call, if you upset a group of racers, that reflects back on the racetrack for their entire business life.
Right.
So being a easy to get along with, organized, communicating promoter are the big things to bring to the table.
Yeah.
That's what's kept me up at night. You saying making the right choice and being a good, being highly like, man, I've been anxious for our upcoming event because I want it to be perfect. I want it to be amazing for these people.
Yeah.
And that's another thing, we run enough events that it doesn't always go perfect. And there's stuff that happens that keeps me up at night. And it probably doesn't, like, there might not be anybody else that thinks about it, but I saw it and it's something that I don't like and we need to change. And that's almost like a life lesson kind of thing, there's going to be mistakes. How can we improve from those mistakes? If we're able to improve from them, it was awesome that happened. That's a great learning opportunity. But if we're not able to,
I've had a couple of those conversations with Carl and Craig. They've had that at me. I'm not saying I had it at them. They had it at me. Like, hey, do this and it'll be better. And you know what? It was.
Yeah.
And I would say don't rely on the track to do all your promoting for you as well. Like, you guys are putting on how many events a year? Like, you guys as a track can't promote everybody's event. So that's kind of up to the promoter to promote their event.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I haven't really dealt with many bad promoters. And certainly at Mokan, Carl and Craig for the last several years have all of the promoters whipped into shape. But yeah, the biggest thing that I can take from it is, some of the horror stories at other facilities of, like, you're posting what on Facebook? Who added this? Where is this coming from? We didn't know anything about it. It can make it a tough job. And then we don't see you until you show up day of or day before the event, and we're going, look, man, we got a lot of questions, and we need answers.
Schedules, I think, is probably one thing that Carl and Craig, well, Carl for sure, told me early on. He's like, just let us know when you want them to run. He's like, that's an easy one. Don't rely on us to figure all that out. So I learned a lot, man. They're awesome, and I'm sure I'm going to learn more this time too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll kind of switch gears again. Are you a car guy away from the track?
Yeah, I guess. I don't, with 80 events in a year and there's only 52 weekends in a year, 52, right? Yeah. Like, there's not that many free opportunities that I get to go racing.
Yeah.
I have, I'll call it 2.5 race cars. I've got a dragster, and I've got a Fox Body Mustang. Neither of them have moved under their own power for a while now, for an embarrassingly long time. But honestly, whenever I get time off, I love drag racing. I love motorsports. I don't want to go to another race. I don't want to
Yeah.
go to another racetrack. So it would be. I dream about the day that I'm an old man and semi-retired from running a racetrack, and I still get to dabble in running a racetrack. But then, maybe one day I can get back into it. But the only way that I would get to go racing would be to do it at my home track, and I won't do that. That's I know better than that. So
Well, one thing I was thinking of a minute ago when we were talking about tips and stuff for promoters is it's too hard to, unless you have a team of people working the event like Tom Bailey does, or like Keith Haney with the Midwest Drag Race Series. It's too hard to race, and like it's too hard to race in your own event. There's
yeah,
just too much going on. That's probably one of the hardest things. That was a hard lesson for me to learn. Is that you just you're trying to be in the lanes, and you're in the lanes for an hour, and people are trying to get a hold of you, trying to ask questions, but you're getting in race mode. So I
sure.
can see where you would have a hard time doing all that.
Well, and and it doesn't matter if it's drag racing, dirt track racing, any of it. There's always a promoter or track manager that has some involvement that turns out to be too much involvement with a car that there's questions, there's drama, and it's just I'm not gonna I'm not
Yep.
gonna open that door up. We're not gonna allow that to happen. So
Yep. So some dude writing rules that maybe fit one of his buddies is what you're saying.
yeah, yeah,
I can guarantee you that happens. We at least hear about it on social media, anyways. It may not
yeah,
happen, but it sure sounds like it does. Wow.
So you said you've got a dragster and a Fox body.
yeah, yeah.
What
What are the? Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say what type of dragster is it?
It's a modern, boring bracket rear engine car.
Okay,
Not even like a 632 or anything cool. It's got a 511 in it.
gotcha.
It's an
Still pretty
old.
cool though.
It's cool. It was my first and only like real race car. So um, yeah, it's fun to say that I have a dragster, and my niece and nephew think it looks cool, but I think that's about as far as it gets me.
What about the
So,
Fox body? What's all done to that?
well, hang on.
Box body's pretty
Let's
well
stay,
bone stock.
yeah, let's stay on the dragster for a second. Like 511, is that a big block Ford or Chevrolet?
Big block Chevy, yeah.
Hmm.
So a little bit of a bore with the 454 and a stroker kit.
Yeah.
It's got aluminum GM head. It's a 454 out of a grain truck. Even like it's not fancy stuff, but
Yeah. I mean, but that's the whole thing with those, right? Consistency, being at the track, running the same number every time. That's what you're trying to do with it. What kind of times does it run?
at best like 8 mile 520s.
Oh,
Nothing
there you go.
crazy.
Yeah.
Um, Keep in mind, whenever I got this car, I was a senior in high school, and really, I mean, I thought I was
Yeah.
a hot commodity. So
Those are, a lot of those are on power glides, right?
yeah, yeah, 2-speed shorty power glide. I mean, the idea with a bracket car is you change oil in it, you check plugs, you check valve lash maybe once a year, and you go to the lake. It's off you go. There's not a lot of
Yeah.
maintenance.
Yeah.
Right.
But don't get me wrong. I mean, if I didn't have plans for the car, I would have gotten rid of it already. And it would be nothing that would be a good race car. It'd just be stupid what I want to do to it. But if I sell it, I can't do something stupid to it. So
Well, now I think you have to tell us what you have planned for it.
I mean, if I had all the money and time in the world, it would have some injected nitro small block or something goofy in there. Like
Yeah.
And I'd still probably bracket race it because I don't know what else I'd do with it.
Right.
But just something to scare everyone with.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, sorry. Let's move. Fox body. Eric is a Fox body guy.
Yeah. So
Never. I never really did. It was a car that came out of a cornfield, had a cage put in it, and that was it. That's how I got it. And I was 15 whenever I got that car. So had a small block Ford in it, had C4. It was I blew up my first rear end pretty much immediately because it still had the 7.5 in it.
Yeah.
The first 302 I blew up because I was in high school and it was open. It was the only thing that I had with open headers.
Yeah,
So I was
it's
probably
still revving.
yeah.
Wow.
So, but that car, being my first race car and having spent a lot of time working on that car and learning a lot with it, I'll never get rid of it. And I won a Mokan track championship in the thing. So
wow.
it means a lot to me, and I don't have any plans of like a turbo LS or anything because I would die if that thing hit the wall. I'd be so sad. So
Well, if you got that when you were 15, how long have you had that car?
17 years. I'm 32.
Wow, man, that's awesome. That's awesome.
I think you ought to get the dragster out, and that's how you kick off every event. Is you get in and make a pass down the track, and events ready now.
So we really have thrown around the idea, like a lot of tracks have rotators, and rotators are great if you can source the tires for them. A lot of the tracks that have rotators have a bunch of racers that run pro mods or funny cars or something that they're always getting rid of tires. We don't have a ton of we don't have a great source for tires for a rotator, but we've thrown around the idea of getting just like an old work truck, V8 work truck, taking the bed off, putting the biggest slick on it that we can, and just roasting the tires down and rolling across the starting line, trying to put rubber down
Yes.
ahead of an event. And I think it would work. I mean, I don't see how it would be any different than big tire bracket cars putting rubber down.
Yeah.
But the dragster would work really well too. The engine from the dragster in an old work truck would really,
Now you're talking.
Frankenstein.
Zoomies out.
Yeah. We might even put some weight on the back of it, make it do wheelies every now and then. I mean,
Yeah,
it'd
be awesome.
I'm in.
Yeah. Well, while you were talking about that, I was thinking about something. What's the current track record for Mokan?
Ooh. So Scott Palmer said it last year at he was our grand marshal for our Nitro Chaos race, our 61st anniversary race. I don't remember exactly what he went. 5 something, low 5, I think.
Wow, that's awesome. In the quarter mile.
In the quarter, yeah. 8th mile record, he set it, I think was like 321. 321 maybe. Yeah.
Jeez, that's awesome.
But I mean, I think the right big show top fueler comes in for one of our events in the future. It wouldn't be unheard of to see a 299 to the 8th at Mokan someday.
Wow, that's cool. One thing, you guys have been making huge upgrades over the off season to the facility. I saw some of the Pave the Pits sponsorship opportunities there, and then so kind of tell us what upgrades are happening at the track.
So we have a lot of asphalt in the pit area that, to our best guess, was put down sometime in the early 90s, mid 90s, and all of that asphalt is going to be replaced this year. So a 90,000 square foot, $250,000 deal. We've got best in the business contractors. Got the folks that are doing this job do airports and highways and 90,000 square feet. They could get that done with their eyes closed. So yeah, it's just like the wall that got installed a few years ago. That was a pretty similar check that had to get cut to build concrete walls alongside the racetrack.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is going to be a major facelift for the facility. But I still don't think that we're gonna. I don't think that we're gonna lose our nostalgic,
Yeah.
uh, dive bar kind of feel.
Yeah, I think that'll be awesome. So, if I'm trying to visualize the part that you're asphalting, will it be there by the concession stands, between the concession stands and the track itself, like that whole little area, or not little area because you're 90,000 square feet, but that area there?
So to paint a picture for you, you're coming in through the spectator gate.
Hmm.
You've gone past the gate shack. You've given Jamie your money. You kind of climb up a hill a little bit, and there's a cedar tree there between
Hmm.
the return road or the pit road and the highway. From that cedar tree all the way past the concession stand through staging lanes 1 through 7 to the ET shack, that is all going to be repaved.
Wow, dude, that's awesome. For everybody that's watching, go look at a Google map of Mokan Dragway. That's huge, man. That's going to be really cool.
It's going to be a huge relief once it's done. I can't tell you how many hours Craig and
Oh.
I have spent throwing asphalt in holes, and we are so excited to to not have to do that anymore.
Yeah, I guarantee it, man. That's
And,
pretty awesome.
and when did you say that was going to get done this year?
This year, we don't have a date for sure yet. One of our big concerns is that bringing in 90 plus truckloads of asphalt, um, that it would damage what we've already got. So we want to make sure that the ground is good and firmed up before we start bringing in a lot of equipment. So far, we're about an inch and a half less rainfall than where we should be for the year. So it being a dry year is going to benefit us on getting that
Mhm.
project expedited. But I think our goal is by June, or
Wow.
sometime in the month of June, um, ahead of our biggest race of the year with the 62nd anniversary race.
Yeah. How many racers typically show up to the huge race there in June or July?
I would say 30 plus nitro burners, just on the pro show side of
Wow.
things, and then probably a couple hundred sportsman racers that come out to race at a prestigious event and
Hmm.
maybe hit a payday. So, but
Dang.
and that those events, while they are our largest in spectator count, they're not our largest participants. Um, we've got our bracket finals event where we welcome in teams of racers from across the midsection of the country, and there's nowhere left to park cars. Our pit area is full,
That's
um,
awesome.
and so we're really lucky to have that event here. And thanks to Carl. That was all Carl's idea back before he had Mocan even. So
Wow.
um,
That's awesome. Yeah, because he's owned it since the 90s, right? I
yeah,
think.
99, and he's the second
Wow.
owner of the facility. So
Oh,
um,
wow.
Yeah.
it's and the original uh, family that had the track. There's still they still come out and see us. Our T-shirts, if anybody's ever gotten a Mocan T-shirt, those have been made by the same guy since 1962.
Oh,
So
how
yeah,
cool.
he's got a little T-shirt shop in Pittsburgh, and he's done a lot of shirts for a lot of different stuff. Whether it's car shows or
Yeah.
um, he made uh, Chris Karamassini's the Golden Greek Top Fuel racer, made his T-shirts for a long time,
That's
um,
awesome.
and he was the announcer out there, and he did a bunch of stuff back when he was a kid. He kind
Wow.
of fell into the deal. So,
That's cool.
but there's a lot of people that have a lot of history with the place that are still around, and it makes it just that much more rewarding to be
Yeah.
making improvements and
Yeah.
It's a special place. I want people to understand it. It really is a special place. It has a great feel. It has like it's welcoming, I would say, for the track there. Well, we're running close to time, Tyler. I want to say thank you so much again. We'll see you in a couple weeks for the circuit. And can you tell everybody where they can find Mokan Dragway on
Sure.
social?
MokanDragway.com will get you just about all the information on any of our events, and then Facebook.com/Mokan Dragway. That's we're pretty active on there. And if
Yeah.
there's anybody that has any questions on anything, you can literally get right to me by messaging us on Facebook. Or yeah, we're pretty open with everything we've got going on. So if anybody needs anything Mokan ways, just send us a message on Facebook, and one of us will get to it and get you all
Right.
sorted out.
That's cool. All right, dude. We'll see you very soon. I'm excited. I'm again coming up. You and I and Craig talked a couple weeks ago. I'm going to come up next weekend. What, the 5th or 6th? What's the day you guys have? What's that Saturday? I think it's the 6th.
Yeah,
Uh,
5th, 6th, and 7th. We're running a test and tune and a double header bracket race on the 5th or the 6th and 7th.
Yep. So I'll be up there on the 6th that afternoon. So if you're going to be in that race, please make sure that you come over and find me. I'm going to set up a tent and we're going to talk about the circuit, and I'm going to try and wrangle in some more spectators to come watch some freaking awesome dragon drive racing. One of the coolest things I think about when I think of the pits at a dragon drive race is it's so different than the pits at a big race, is because there's no trucks and trailers. It's
Yeah.
just cars and trailers. So there's no, like, as people walk down through there, all they see is cool hot rods, man. So
Yeah.
again, I appreciate the love and support you guys have given us over the years, and I can't wait to see how much growth Mokan sees from having Dragon Drive races at the events this year, plus the other 76 days of racing you guys have planned.
Yeah. Well, guys, I appreciate you having us on, and we'll see you in a few weeks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank
All
you.
right, man. Thanks a bunch.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
What a fun dude. I'm
Yeah.
telling you. We've had a great show tonight, man. It's been
Yeah.
really a good time. We've had great guests. Having Bill on again, one of my favorite people in all of Dragon Drive and all of social media and all the stuff we see out there in the media teams. That guy's a favorite of mine. And then, dude, that's the most I've ever talked to Tyler ever.
Yeah.
I mean, we send messages back and forth all the time, and I had a phone call with them talking about the event, probably, I would say 10 days ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, which is exactly what he was talking about. Open communication, talk to those guys, tell them kind of the plans for the day and all that stuff. So I hope folks got some stuff out of the show tonight. Again, want to say thank you to everybody for hanging out tonight, and being our race car friends, man. It's a growing community here. We love you guys a whole lot. So thank you to all of our race car friends. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for the shares. Thank you for the comments tonight. We've had a lot of comments in here tonight. Thank you to our sponsors: Summit Racing, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Car Change 3D, Howard's Cams, Performer Built Transmissions, Sweet Patina, and Racing Junk Classifieds. And then our newest media partner, PowerTube TV, where you can find this and other exclusive content from us over there on the app or on all social media stuff.
All
Sweet.
right. We will see you guys on Saturday morning.
All right, guys. See ya.